Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Let's go! Hey! Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night, And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do?
Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation! Rise up.
Yeah, ayy, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off, get it hype. This man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really wanna try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go! What is up, Man Hour Nation? Guys, welcome to Man Hour NFL Talk, your go-to spot for live, raw, uncut NFL talk. I'm so glad you guys are with us today. Before we jump into today's action, guys, head over to manhourradio.com. There's where you find all the exclusive merchandise, the fresh blogs, and everything that's happening with the Man Hour show. So you guys, if you're rocking the Man Hour, that's the spot to rep it. Make sure you hit the like button, share it with a couple friends, and subscribe so you never miss a live and after show. That's the easiest way to stay plugged into us. But if you want the full Man Hour experience, guys, become a Pigskin Pundit. That is our members-only community where you get free with weekly NFL pick'ems, giveaways, exclusive merchandise, and bonus live streams only the Pigskin Pundits get. So you're all about the next level access, guys. Join the squad today. Now remember, this is a live and after show, so drop your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes in the comments down below because I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you, Mr. Swarmy. He says, "Hey, what's up?" He says, "You are the best." Appreciate that. Appreciate that. But guys, we are in our way too early NFL prediction mode. We did the AFC West last night, and tonight we work our way over to the AFC North. The AFC North has arguably some of the most slept on teams in the entire NFL. We are talking about the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Put some respect on the name, baby. So we are going to go break down each game, all 18 weeks, all 4 teams, and we're going to give you the win-loss record way too early in this season. So Swarm says, I am subscribed. I appreciate that. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, guys. Share this with a couple friends. And also, this is a live interactive show. So comment your thoughts. But guys, let's start here right at the top, and let's start about arguably the most slept on team in the entire NFL. Let's talk about a team that many people are counting out now because of their history. A team that I think is going to make the playoffs and going to upset, that's right, upset a lot of people this season. And guys, we're talking the one and only Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns took a highly calculated, aggressive approach to the 2026 NFL offseason. Rather than hunting for a flashy skill position stars, General Manager Andrew Berry and newly appointed coach Todd Monken directed almost all of their financial and trading resources to a complete ground-up rebuild on the offensive line and the hard-nosed identity shift that is we know about the Cleveland Browns. The core veteran moves and the narrative pillars of the Browns, the 2026 spring focus on the major transaction. Guys, following a coaching change this offseason, former offensive coordinator Todd Monken was promoted to head coach. His influence on the roster was immediate. Felt like as if the front office prioritized violence, physical blocking, and system-fit veterans pieces to shift that offense culture away from the previous regime. With that being said, fixing an aging and expensive and injury-plagued offensive front was the absolute number one mandate in the front office this offseason. In a span of weeks, Cleveland completely reinforced its protection unit. They did some blockbuster trades. The Browns traded for fifth-round pick to the Houston Texans to acquire veteran offensive tackle Titus Howard. Upon arrival, the front office immediately locked him down on a massive 3-year, $63 million contract extension to secure him and the new starting right tackle. And then they made some guard splashes as well. The interior line was completely fortified in free agency by signing Zion Johnson to a hefty 3-year, $49.5 million and adding elite veteran Elgin Jenkins to a 2-year, $24 million contract, which $20 of million is guaranteed. And then they just kept adding pieces and adding pieces and adding pieces, and they re-signed key guard Tevin Jenkins to keep in the building. Now, in the league that has largely abandoned the position, Todd Monken immediately signaled to shift to heavy, old-school rushing sets by actively targeting a fullback. After missing out Patrick Ricard, who signed with the Giants, the Browns signed 10-year veteran fullback Michael Burton to a 1-year deal. Burton is expected to be a heavy factor in the lead blocking schemes for the Cleveland Browns backfield this season. And they did just not stop there. Beyond the offensive line, Andrew Berry made several calculated mid-tier free agency moves to shore up the spine of the depth of the to shore up the spine of their depth chart. Linebacking core. The defense landed a major piece by signing veteran linebacker Quincy Williams to a 2-year, $13 million deal, $9 million of it which is guaranteed, to add immediate sideline-to-sideline speed. And then they also skilled depth as well. The Browns added tight end Jack Stoll on a 1-year deal to serve as a primary blocking option alongside speedster Tylan Wallace to block the wide receiver depth and special teams return unit. And the defense just got better and better and better. The big picture for the Cleveland Browns in 2026, guys, the Browns' spring strategy was unapologetic and they were pragmatic. They invested over $130 million in contract value strictly into Titus Howard, Zion Johnson, Elgin Jenkins. Cleveland is betting that the quickest path to the AFC North contention is assuring absolute dominance in the trenches and protecting the quarterback. With that being said, the Cleveland Browns, guys, I feel are one of the most slept-on teams in the entire NFL. With that being said, I think the Cleveland Browns are going to make some noise in the NFL this season. With that being said, let's get to the way too early NFL picks for the Cleveland Browns this 2026 NFL season. In week number 1, they start on the road taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Jaguars, guys, are a team that I have faith in this season as well. The Jaguars made huge steps last season. I think those steps continued this season, and the Cleveland Browns get a week 1 loss in Jacksonville in Duval, 13-10, starting off their season 0-1. And then week number 2, they're still in Florida, this time taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are a true wild card team. You do not know what you are going to get. But a trend for the Cleveland Browns this season is the amount of points that they score early. I think they scored 9 points versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they ultimately lose the game 12-9. So, guys, they've had 2 games, and they've held both pretty good offenses under 14 points. That's going to show you how dominant this defense is moving forward. I think the Cleveland Browns are going to have the best defense in the AFC this season. And then week number 3, they're finally get the home opener versus the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are a decent team as well, but I do think the Browns come out on top 17-14, giving them the first win of the season. And then things start to click. Once you get your first win, these divisional opponents on Thursday Night Football become gravy trains because the Pittsburgh Steelers come to Cleveland Thursday night, and the Browns get the win again in week number 4, giving them a 14-9 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers, giving them the 500 going into week number 5. Now, week number 5 is a very, very much of a trap game. This is a game that could go either way. You travel to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Football Jets. But coming off of a mini bye week, going into week 5, Deshaun Watson is finding his groove, and I think the Cleveland Browns go into MetLife Stadium and they beat the New York Jets by 10, 22-12 in this week 5 matchup. Now, week 6 is where things start to get a little shaky because you are at home. You are battling a divisional foe in the Baltimore Ravens. As you guys notice, a trend of my scores so far. Under 14 points every game so far this season. Week 6 is a complete lapse of the Cleveland Browns. They are hot dog water all game long. I think the Ravens come into Cleveland and they whoop that ass 33-9. It is over by halftime and it's mop-up duty by the end of it. Week number 7, the Titans return the favor, the Cleveland Browns return the favor to the Tennessee Titans. They go into Nashville and they score 42 points of their own and only allow 9, beating the Tennessee Titans 42-9 in week number 7, giving them back to a 500 record. Now, this is going to be a trend moving forward. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Because week number 8, they're on the road battling a Pittsburgh Steelers team. Guys, I want to be a caveat right here. I think the AFC North is going to be the best division in football from top to bottom. It would not shock me if all 4 teams do make the playoffs. I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers are hot in week 8, and they pulled out the victory 22-21 over the Cleveland Browns, dropping the Browns below 500 yet again. But then week number 9 rolls around. The Saints coming off a bye week. The Browns are traveling to the Big Easy. Now, this game, I think, is going to go in the Browns' favor. I think a 24-7 score is on pace for this game because I don't have any faith in the New Orleans Saints at all. I think they're hot dog water. With that being said, though, coming off of a bye week, after an emotional divisional game, 22-21, it could be a very much of a trap game. So circle that game if you are a Cleveland Browns fan, week number 9. But I do think they get back to 500. But week 10, arguably the best 2 defenses in the NFL go to battle. The Houston Texans take on the Cleveland Browns. In Cleveland, we are not going to see a touchdown in this game. We are going to see maybe 300 total offensive yards combined. It is going to be a defensive sluggernaut game. I think the Houston Texans come out on top 6-3, dropping the Browns below 500 going into the bye week. A bye week is much relieved. They needed it. They've been battling back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They are below 500. However, bye week is exactly what they needed. Deshaun Watson needed that rest. And Deshaun Watson gets a back massage, finds his mojo week 12 when the Las Vegas Raiders come into town and they get the dub 22-20 fresh off the bye week. And then week 13, it continues. Cincinnati Bengals come into town. 3 home games in a row. Matter of fact, they have 4 home games in a row with the bye week built in. Bengals come in. It is a shootout. 33-30, Browns on top. Week 14, much of the same. Another nice, composed, competitive game. The Browns beat the Atlanta Falcons 21-17. The Browns are now on a 3-game winning streak since the bye week. They are well above 500. They are in first place in the AFC North. They're looking at playoffs. They're looking their chops. And people in the AFC are like, oh shit, what just happened? And by the way, week 15, that trend continues when they travel to MetLife Stadium again, this time to take on the New York Football Giants, and they beat them 24-9. This is a battle of the most slept-on teams in the NFL, but I think the Browns are getting hot at the right time. 4 wins in a row over the Raiders, Bengals, Falcons, and the New York Football Giants. But then week 16 comes into play. The Baltimore Ravens, for whatever reasons, have the Browns number this season. They beat them 33-9 earlier in the season in Cleveland. This time in Baltimore, I think is much of the same. I think the Ravens come out on top 34-6, breaking the Browns' 4-game winning streak. But week 17, the Browns bounce back at home, taking on the Indianapolis Colts. They win a slugfest of a game, 17-15 over the Indianapolis Colts, give us a week 18 matchup for arguably the division title. You have the Cleveland Browns at Cincinnati taking on the Bengals. Now, the Bengals are historically a high-flying offense. Their defense is not so good. The Browns' defense have won them a lot of games this season, have kept them in a lot of games this season. However, I think week 18, their defense finally fails them, and the Bengals come out on top 28-10, giving the Browns a 10-7 record on the season. I think the Browns are a very much improved team. I think the Browns are going to go out there and they're going to do really, really good things. I think the Browns are the most slept on team in the entire NFL. With that being said, 10-7 record is a good record. A 10-7 record could win you the AFC North. A 10-7 record could get you second, third place in the AFC playoffs. But what do you guys think? Is that 10-7 record, is that too high? Is that too low? Or is that just right? Guys, let me know down in the comments below. What do you think about the Cleveland Browns? Also, the biggest question in Cleveland right now this offseason is who is going to be their starting quarterback? Shador Sanders? Is it going to be Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, or Taylor Green? Let me know who you guys think who the quarterback will be coming week 1 for the Cleveland Browns. So guys, as we talk about the Cleveland Browns, we have to talk about one of the teams that I think is going to kind of just be blah. The Bengals did not do a whole lot this offseason. Joe Burrow is out there punching in sets, saying that he wants to break Carson Palmer's record with 46 touchdowns this season. T. Higgins wants that 1,000-yard receiving season. The list goes on and on and on. But one thing we do not say is defense. Defense has not been really a focal point for the Bengals for a very, very long time. The Cincinnati Bengals enter the 2026 offseason with an aggressive, singular focus, completely re-engineering a defense that frustrated Joe Burrow and the front office during their tough 6-11 campaign last season. By sacrificing their top draft selection for an elite veteran presence and making major financial splash in free agency, Cincinnati put together what Joe Burrow recently called the most talented roster since he has arrived. Per your request, here are the key veteran storylines and takeaways from the draft selections. Now let's talk about the biggest splash this offseason with the Cincinnati Bengals. And that is the sexy Dexter Lawrence blockbuster trade. An absolute crown jewel for the Bengals offseason was the massive trade with the New York Football Giants. The Bengals packaged their number 10 overall draft pick to acquire superstar defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence II. Upon arrival, the front office immediately locked him down to a contract extension through the 2028 NFL season, giving the Bengals an absolutely game-disrupting force to anchor the middle of their defensive line. Beyond the Lawrence trade, Duke Tomlin and the front office poured massive financial resources into the defense trenches and maximized their pass rushing consistency. The Bengals handed former Seahawks edge rusher Boy Mafi a hefty 3-year, $60 million contract to immediately step in as a premier starting defensive end since Trey Hendrickson is no longer there. They also paired up Lawrence on the inside by signing a reliable veteran defensive tackle, Jonathan Allen, formerly of the Commanders and the Vikings, to a 2-year, $25 million deal. Now, after struggling on the back end of the secondary, the Bengals watched safety Geno Stone to the Bills and Anderson to the Broncos depart, replacing them with high-end, heavy-fitting leadership. Cincinnati won a competitive sweepstakes by sending former Chiefs safety Brian Cook to a lucrative 3-year contract worth over $40 million. They quickly doubled down on that position by adding former Patriots safety Kyle Duggar on a 1-year contract as well. The team also added unrestricted free agent Jahir Taylor on a 1-year deal and extended veteran death piece Jalen Davis. While the premier resources went to the defense, the Bengals also made strategic similar scale moves to incite Joe Burrow. The team locked down franchise offensive tackle Orlando Brown Jr. to a 2-year contract extension, keeping him anchored through the 2028 NFL season. They also re-signed guard Dylan Reicher to a 1-year deal to preserve that chemistry. To completely emulate any voluntary if Burrow faces injury, the Bengals signed 2 highly experienced veteran arms to 1-year deals as well, Joe Flacco and Josh Johnson. The Bengals played this offseason like a team knowing its championship window is wide open right now, flipping the 10th overall pick for a proven powerhouse like Dexter Lawrence while spending over $125 million in combined free agency cash on Mafi, Cook, Allen, and signals a shift back to violent, high-stakes defense identity. But guys, the Cincinnati Bengals have been struggling as of late. Health has been their real big issue, and the defense has been complete hot dog water. Following a 6-11 campaign last season, let's give you guys the way too early NFL win-loss records for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals start off week number 1 at home, taking on arguably the NFC South favorites in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers have had their way with the AFC as of late, meaning all across the board between the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Chiefs and the Steelers. The Buccaneers play the AFC very, very well. And I think that continues week number 1 when the Buccaneers go into Cincinnati and they beat the Bengals 30-28, giving the Bengals an 0-1 start to the season. Week number 2 does not get any easier for the Cincinnati Bengals either, as they're back on the road, take on the Houston Texans. The Texans, with arguably one of the best defenses in the NFL, will hold the Bengals just to 12 points, and they will score 17 with the new high-flying offense that they have. C.J. Stroud is finding his groove. Bengals dropped to 0-2 on the season, losing to the Houston Texans 17-12. And then week number 3, they're back on the road yet again, this time taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are a team that kind of like we don't know what to do with our hands. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a team that is going to be mediocre. There are going to be some games where they play great and some games they just play bad. I think week number 3, early in the season, is one of those games where they playing good. They beat the Bengals 20-17, giving the Bengals a 0-3 start to the season. But week number 4 is where things start to click a little bit for the Cincinnati Bengals, as they're back at home taking on AFC South Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are a much improved team. Trevor Lawrence is a decent quarterback. The Jaguars are a decent team. However, the Bengals offense is much too much for the Jacksonville Jaguars defense as they pull out their first win of the victory 33-30. And they carried that momentum into week number 5 when they travel to Florida to take on the Miami Dolphins. This game is over before it begins. 35-14 in the Bengals' favor, giving them the second win on the season. 2 wins in a row heading into the week 6 bye. Now, I don't know how you guys like bye weeks. I think 5, 6, 7, 8 bye weeks are complete disadvantage to any team out there. But the Bengals' bye comes right at the wrong time. They're starting to get hot. They have wins over the Jaguars, wins over the Miami Dolphins. Offense is clicking. Defense is holding teams down. But week 7, they have an AFC North battle versus the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Now, last season, We saw some great games between these two teams. And I think week 7 is much like last season. It's going to come down to who has the ball last. I think the Baltimore Ravens will have the ball last, and they beat the Bengals 42-35 on this week 7 matchup. Week number 8. The Bengals offense is still clicking. The Bengals offense is still finding the end zone early and often. The defense still not so great. They are back at home playing the Tennessee Titans, and they do get the victory 27-24 versus a bad Tennessee Titans team. And then week number 9, they fly overseas to Spain, I do believe, to take on the Atlanta Falcons. One thing that we have learned about the overseas games in the years past is offenses do not travel well. For whatever reason, we are not going to see a high-flying offenses. Defense travels, running game can travel, but guess what? The Bengals have neither of those. So they do play the Atlanta Falcons. They are the home team, the Falcons are, and I think the Falcons have a better running game and a better defense, and they outlast the Bengals 14-10, dropping the Bengals down to just, their 5th loss of the season. Now, week number 10. No bye week after the overseas game, which I think is a complete asinine thing, but at least they're back at home. They're back at home playing on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are fresh off their bye week. Bengals are going to be coming in this game one or two ways. They're either going to blow out the Pittsburgh Steelers or they're going to get blown out by the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's no mediocre game. It's one extreme or the other. And I do think they blow out the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 10, 30-6, giving them yet another win on the season. Now, week 11, Monday Night Football. They travel to Washington, D.C., America's capital, to take on the Commanders. The Commanders are a team that's going to be hungry. They are coming off a mini bye week from playing Thursday Night Football the week before. I think the Commanders have just enough to outlast the Bengals 24-17, giving the Bengals yet another loss. And then week number 12, they back at home take on the New Orleans Saints. I think they beat the Saints pretty handily, 28-10, giving them a victory. Week 13, back on the road. There's one key thing about the Bengals. When the offense plays well, the defense plays bad. When the defense plays well, the offense plays bad. There is no complete game for the Bengals this season. I think week 13 is a perfect execution of that, because when they travel to Cleveland to take on the Browns, it is an offensive juggernaut. Both teams are going to score 30-plus points, and I think the Browns outlast the Bengals 33-30. And then week 14 is when the losing streak starts. They've lost to the Browns. They're back at home, take on the Kansas City Chiefs, coming off of their mini bye week. And the Chiefs go into Cincinnati, and they beat them 30-27. 2 losses in a row, and it doesn't get much better, because week 15, they're back on the road, take on the Carolina Panthers. I think the defense plays well, but the offense forgets to show up, and the Panthers win 12-7. Week 16, much of the same. Defense plays well, offense forgets to show up on the road in Indianapolis, and they lose 14-10 to the Colts. What is going on? But then week 17, everything turns around. Thursday Night Football, the offense is high flying. We might see 4, 5, 6 touchdowns from Joe Burrow in the first half. They beat the they beat the Ravens 33-30, give us the week 18 matchup versus the Cleveland Browns. Kind of mop-up duty at this point, but they do get the win 28-10 over divisional foe Cleveland Browns, giving the Bengals a 7-10 record this season. Good for 4th place in the AFC North. Now, I do not think the Bengals are a terrible team. I just don't think they have their identity secured on the defensive side of the ball. I think they spent the money. I think it'll take time to them adjust. But I think the offense is just going to carry the defense for so long. Offense is going to get tired. Now, it could be very well that they could be 10-7 as well. But unfortunately, I think the Bengals will be 7-10 this season, and I just do not see them as a playoff team. I do not see them as a team that is going to do much of anything this NFL season. Now, they could get hot. They could, but they won't. Now, a team that has been hot are the Baltimore Ravens. Even without that massive blockbuster trade, Eric DeCosta and the front office still made significant aggressive moves to maximize Lamar Jackson's window while facing a massive financial crunch that forced to a total rebuild of the offensive line. Here are the 2026 keys to the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this offseason, defense made a real splash. They finally thought about, hey, maybe we need a defense with Lamar Jackson. They brought in Trey Hendrickson. Now, with the no trade with Max Crosby on the books, the absolute crown jewel for Baltimore defense overhaul was their massive free agent raid on division rival. The Ravens signed former Bengals star pass rusher Trey Hendrickson to a monster 4-year, $112 million contract. 60 of that million is fully guaranteed. Booking Hendrickson to anchor the edge gives the Ravens the elite, consistent grainmaker they desperately needed to disrupt the AFC's top quarterbacks. Beyond Hendrickson, Baltimore leaned heavily into veteran chemistry and heavy-handed depth up front. To fortify the interior line rotation, they injected elite leadership into the locker room. Calais Campbell was signed on a 1-year deal to return to Baltimore. The front office prioritized keeping the depth intact, making sure the interior rotation stayed stout behind Mamaduki. I am so bad with names. Mataduki. Am I saying that right? I don't know. To clear the necessary financial runaway for Trey Hendrickson's massive contract, the Ravens had to make peace with watching several prominent Pro Bowl caliber foundational pieces walk out the door in free agency. 3-time Pro Bowler center Tyler Linderbaum departed for the Las Vegas Raiders on a record-breaking contract, creating a massive, glaring hole in the middle of Baltimore's protection. Dynamic tight end Isaiah Likely left for the New York Giants, adding a blocking special to tight end Charlie Collier and explosive running back Keaton Mitchell both departed to sign lucrative deals with the Los Angeles Chargers. With Linderbaum gone and the budget tight, DeCosta had to basically get creative with cost-effective veteran additions to protect Lamar Jackson and insulate the secondary. To help offset the massive losses, the Ravens signed guard John Simpson to a 3-year, $30 million contract to add a veteran center Danny Piner to complete the starting job. In the defensive backfield, the front office brought back reliable veteran quarterback WAYYY. I can never say his name, on a fully guaranteed 1-year, $5 million deal. To fill depth holes, Kyle Hamilton, the team signed versatile free agent safety Jalen Hawkins to a 2-year deal, and Kavion Wallace as well. Veteran quarterback Tyler Huntley was re-signed on a 2-year, $11 million extension to remain Lamar Jackson's primary backup alongside Skylar Thompson. The big picture for the 2026 NFL season is without the Crosby trade, the narrative of the Baltimore Ravens offseason shift to historic draft capital sacrifice to calculated division welfare, stealing Trey Hendrickson away from the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Ravens have been a team that's been up and down all NFL, all last 3 seasons. When Lamar Jackson's great, he is great. But when he's not good, he is terrible. The floor and ceilings are so high for the Baltimore Ravens. So, guys, let's get with them with the way too early win-loss record for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Ravens, guys, need to win now. The Ravens' desire to make it to the Super Bowl now is very, very apparent. And week number 1, the pressure is on. You are on the road taking on the Indianapolis Colts, an AFC team that could potentially make some noise. However, Jesse Minter and the new look offense just isn't ready. The Colts outlast the Ravens 21-14 in week number 1, giving the Ravens the first loss of the season. Week number 2, the Ravens are with their home opener taking on the New Orleans Saints. It seems like every time we talk about the Saints, it's a loss, and oh, by the way, another loss. And week number 2 is the continuance of that loss theme. The Ravens beat the Saints 28-10, giving them the first win of the season. Now, week number 3, they're playing the Dallas Cowboys in Spursville. Remember what we said about the Bengals and the Steelers and the other teams that are traveling overseas this season? Offenses don't travel well overseas. This happens again in week number 3. The Baltimore Ravens are only going to score 9 points this game. However, the Dallas Cowboys are only going to score 12 points. They do get the loss, but it is a competitive field goal battle. The Cowboys come up on top, giving the Ravens the second loss of the season. Week number 4, the Ravens are back at home. And at this point, they are very, very upset. They are hearing the noise. Jesse Mittner might be a bust of a coach. We miss John Harbaugh. Lamar Jackson is trash. This, and this, and this. And they come out and they execute and they put the belt to the ass versus the Tennessee Titans 44-3, giving them their second win of the season, catapulting them to a 500 record. And this is where everything starts to click for the Baltimore Ravens, because week number 5, they go on the road to take on the Atlanta Falcons. It's not even close, 38-10. Week number 6, much of the same, on the road versus the Cleveland Browns, 33-9. 3 games in a row, 3 wins in a row of scoring 40 or 30 plus points. Week number 7, much of the same when they take on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are coming off of the bye week. However, the Ravens are rolling. 3 wins in a row. Better fact, making 4 wins in a row, beating the Bengals 42-35. All of a sudden now, everything is starting to click. All of a sudden now, the Ravens are the AFC favorites. All of a sudden now, Jesse Mittner and Lamar Jackson are a perfect duo. But all the good also comes with the bad, because week number 8, when they travel to the Buffalo Bills, fresh off their bye week, their offense kind of stagnates. No touchdowns in this game. They lose to the Buffalo Bills 24-12. But not all is lost, because and you lose a game like they did to the Buffalo Bills, the breast medicine is a short work week, and they play Thursday Night Football at home versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they get right back on track, and they score 24 points, holding the Jaguars to 10, getting them next victory. And this is when the streak starts to happen yet again. A nice long week. You have, 10, 11 days before the next game. Monday Night Football, take on the LA Chargers. 30-24, an easy dub for the Ravens. In week 11, much of the same. They travel to Carolina, a potential trap game, but they pull it out 17-13. Now, we are looking at the Ravens winning 7 of their last 8. We are looking like the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. It's looking like Lamar Jackson is going to win his 3rd MVP and earn those bills, yo. But week 12, they travel down to Houston to play the best defense in the NFL, to play arguably a top 10 offense in the NFL, fresh off their mini bye week. This game is a slugfest. We're going to see big hits, and we're going to see a lot of injuries, I do believe. The Houston Texans come out on top over the Ravens 20-14, giving the Ravens a nice little cushion going into their bye week, the week 13 bye week. The best bye week in the entire NFL is 12, 13, or 14. Now, week 14, fresh off the bye week at home, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come to town. This is when the Ravens start to show how good they can be. They beat the Buccaneers by 10 points, 27-17, giving them back into their winning ways. However, week 15, divisional matchup. Every time the Ravens play an elite defense this season, they kind of get exposed. The Pittsburgh Steelers are an elite defense. It is a divisional game on the road, and they lose the Pittsburgh Steelers 13-10. Week 16, they have beaten the Cleveland Browns before. Last time at Cleveland, they did put that belt to ass. But as of late, they've been battling elite defenses not so good. Browns have an elite defense, top 5 in the NFL, hands down. However, the Ravens have the Browns number this season, and they put that belt to ass 34-6, giving them back on their winning ways. But week 17, Thursday Night Football. Defense forgets to show up. Offense balls out, scores 30-plus points versus the Cincinnati Bengals, but the Bengals score just more, giving the Bengals to win 33-30 in this Week 17 matchup. Gives us the Week 18 matchup for the division title at home, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I do think they win the division title by beating the Pittsburgh Steelers 20-17 in Week 18, giving the Baltimore Ravens 11-6 record on the year and 4-2 in the division. That is good enough for 3rd in the AFC playoff race. But what do you guys think, Man Hour Nation? Is it too high, too low, or just right for the Baltimore Ravens? Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Now, the final team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers threw out their traditional conservative playbook during the 2026 offseason. Following the momentum end of Mike Tomlin era, the franchise hired Mike McCarthy as their new head coach this offseason. They brought in Patrick Graham to run the defense and embarked a high-stakes, hyper-aggressive veteran overhaul. Stepping completely away from what the patent rebuild, the front office pushed all of its chips to compete immediately. Here are some of the key veteran storylines that the Pittsburgh Steelers did this NFL offseason. The absolute focal point of the Steelers spring was the quarterback position. After waiting out of the market, the front office officially re-signed Aaron Rodgers to a one-year, $25 million deal. $22 million, which is fully guaranteed, to keep him wearing the number 8 in his final NFL season. Yes, he did say this is his final season. Locking him down to solidify the Pittsburgh ultimate win-now timeline under Mike McCarthy. To maximize the passing game around Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, general manager Omar Khan orchestrated a massive shakeup in the wide receiver room. The Steelers traded a late-round draft choice to the Indianapolis Colts to acquire star wideout Michael Pittman Jr., immediately signing him to a new 3-year, $59 million contract. The addition gives the roster a lethal, incredibly balanced premier pairing with DK Metcalf. To balance the books and the assets accoladed, the front office traded away star receiver George Pickens last season, and this really gave them the opportunity to sign Michael Pittman Jr. Now, with Patrick Graham taking over defense that struggled highly against the pass last season, the front office completely re-engineered the back end of the premier veteran free agency talent. The headline splash was signing the elite cornerback of Jameel Dean away from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a 3-year, $36.75 million contract. He slots in directly across from Joey Porter Jr. to form a massive physical boundary duo. Guys, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will have the best defense in the NFL this season. They also bring back Asante Samuel Jr. on a 1-year, $4 million extension and Darnell Savage on a 1-year deal as well. Now, the Steelers ensured their bruising identity up front, and that should remain intact while making strategic adjustments to the depth chart. Defensive line anchor Cameron Haywood signed a 2-year extension to a $32.25 million contract extension while he's lined up to the next TJ Watt and bitten through the 2027 NFL season. Guys, long story short, the Pittsburgh Steelers are in a win-now mode. Long story short, the Pittsburgh Steelers are tired of being 500. Long story short, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do their thing, and it starts week 1 when they battle the Atlanta Falcons. We talked about the signing of Michael Pittman Jr. We talked about the Aaron Rodgers comeback, DK Metcalf, and this defense. We have talked about the offense being such a focal point, be high flying. Week number 1, they don't even score a single touchdown. They just scored 6 points in this home opener versus the Atlanta Falcons under the Mike McCarthy era. However, that defense is nice. That defense is really, really nice, and they pitch a shutout. 6-0 win for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the week 1 matchup versus the Atlanta Falcons. Week number 2, they're on the road to take on the New England Patriots. The Patriots are a team that we don't know if they're Fugazi, if they're full goal, a one-hit wonder. We don't know. But what we do know is that this Pittsburgh Steelers offense is not looking good right now, and they score 6 points yet again. This time, the defense does give up 2 touchdowns to the Patriots, and they get the first loss of the season, 14-6. Now, week number 3, things start to look a little bit better. They start to a little bit more fine-tuned. They start to look like, okay, the Steelers might be onto something here as they're back at home, take on the Cincinnati Bengals. They beat the Bengals week 3, 20-17, giving the second win of the season. But then Thursday Night Football rolls around, and the offense is back to, we don't know what to do with our hands. At this point, we are tired of seeing Aaron Rodgers screaming at the coach. Well, what the F you doing? We are tired of seeing DK Metcalf drop balls. We are tired of seeing Michael Pittman Jr. not getting the balls, and it continues. The Cleveland Browns beat the Steelers 14-9 in the Week 4 matchup, giving them a 500 record going into Week 5. Now, Week 5, the offense finally starts to come around a little bit. The defense forgets to show up after the mini bye week, but at home, take on the Indianapolis Colts. The Pittsburgh Steelers offense scores 28 points. They give up 22, but they score 28, giving them the victory, putting them over 500 at 3-2 going into week number 6. Now, a common theme for the Steelers this early in the season is the offense just is not clicking. We don't know if it's Aaron Rodgers. We don't know if it's Mike McCarthy. We just don't know. But we do know that they're not scoring points and their defense is holding them down. But week 6, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lied to the Pittsburgh Steelers 35-12, dropping the Steelers back to 500 on this NFL season. Now, week 17, this is a common theme. Offense does not travel well overseas. This time, the Pittsburgh Steelers are traveling to France to take on the New Orleans Saints. Good thing about their Steelers is their defense does show up week number 7. The bad thing is the offense forgets to show up. Now, they do score 14 points and hold the Saints to 7, but everything is getting questioned in Pittsburgh right now. Why did we bring back Aaron Rodgers? Week number 8, they are back at home, take on the Cleveland Browns, fresh off of that France trip, but they do beat the Browns 22-21, giving us a week 9 bye week. Now, the bye week is come at a great time. The bye week is like, okay, Aaron Rodgers, Mike McCarthy, let's figure this out. Let's figure out what is wrong with this offense. But week 10, the offense forgets to show up yet again, and they lose the Cincinnati Bengals on the road 30-6. What is going on in Pittsburgh? What we do know is week 11, they play a very, very good Philadelphia Eagle team on the road, fresh off their bye, and they get that ass whooped 30-9. Holy shit, what is going on? But I say slow it down, baby. Because week 12, they're back at home, and the defense looks good, the offense looks good, and the Pittsburgh Steelers finally put together a complete game, beating the Denver Broncos 17-14. They are in a very, very tough spot of their schedule. They have just played the Eagles. They just beat the Denver Broncos. Then they play the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football, and the Baltimore Ravens and the Carolina Panthers to end out the season. Now, they just beat the Broncos 17-14. They're back at home yet again, playing a really, really good team in the Houston Texans. They do outlast the Texans 14-12, giving them the 2 wins in a row. Give them a Monday Night Football matchup versus the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville, Florida. I think the Jaguars pull this one out late, 22-21, giving the Steelers another loss. But week 15, things start to click a little bit better. We have seen the Steelers beat a good Broncos team. We've seen the Steelers beat a good Houston Texans team. We've seen the Steelers battle a Jacksonville Jaguars team, a good Jacksonville Jaguars team. And that momentum carries on to week 15 when they're back at home taking on the Baltimore Ravens, and they beat the Ravens 13-10. Week 16, much of the same. They're back at home, 4 games at home out of their last 5, and they beat the Carolina Panthers 30-6. Okay, baby, now we're going. Now, week 17, on the road in Nashville, Tennessee, to take on the Titans. It's another belt-to-ass 35-12. The Steelers have now won 5 of their last 6. They have now started to look like a really, really good team. They're sitting at 10 wins on the NFL season. Everything comes down to week 18, playing a divisional opponent, the Baltimore Ravens, for all the marbles. Both teams are sitting at 10 wins apiece. However, the Baltimore Ravens have been there. They've done that. They get the win at home, dropping the Steelers to 10-7 on the year with the 20-17 loss to win the week 18 season. So, guys, that's exactly where I have the Pittsburgh Steelers finishing this season, is in second place behind the Baltimore Ravens at 10-7. Now, I got to ask the question, is it too high? Is it too low? Or is it just right for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season? Is a 10-win season for the Steelers perfect? Let me know down in the comments down below.